Welcome in. Happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are having a good week. We made it to the weekend, football last night. Obviously, tonight there's some college stuff. And then we've got the full college slate tomorrow, full NFL slate Sunday. So we have a lot to talk about. Another huge night last night. Green Bay had them first half in full game. That was an easy cash, very similar to last week, in my opinion. Green Bay was my favorite play on the board in week one. They were kind of short favorites, and they crushed. Same thing last night. By the time we got to the game, I really, really liked the spot for the Packers. They were pretty short favorites, 3, and they crushed. Once again, though, there was I would say the Lions were pretty public against Green Bay in week one. And then Washington, I didn't end up looking at the bet splits. I don't think we looked at them when I was on stream yesterday, and I didn't end up looking them after, but I'm pretty sure Washington was public too. At least it seemed that way to me. It seemed like most of the people I saw giving out picks for the games last night, most of them were on Washington, which I thought was interesting. But anyways, another huge day. Romeo Dobbs, anytime touchdown and first touchdown. That's like the 7th. We're not even to the week 2 slate yet. We've hit like 7 of 12 anytime touchdown picks I've given out. We've hit, I think, two or three first touchdowns already. Like, it's been an insane start to the season. I don't know if I've ever started a season this good. So hopefully we can keep that up. But yeah, if you guys have questions on anything, go ahead and let me know in the chat. We're going to run through, we'll probably do college first and then switch over, talk some NFL, and then stream Sunday morning at 11 a.m. to give final thoughts on the DFS slate, position by position, bets, touchdown picks, all that good stuff. So lots of content coming this weekend. As for the college slate tonight, Indiana minus 47.5 against Indiana State. I don't know. Like, if I don't like betting on these kind of mid schools when it's a name your score situation. If you wanted to do a Indiana first half or something, maybe you could talk me into that. But overall, probably pass on laying that big of a number with Indiana. Same situation with Colgate and Syracuse. They're minus 38.5, 37.5 in some spots. So 36.5 out there. Don't like betting on these teams, name your score situation. So pass for me on Syracuse. If you wanted to do a first quarter, first half bet or something, go ahead. But I'm probably going to pass there. As for Colorado-Houston, I like this spot. I gave it out on Twitter earlier. Play of the day for me tonight in the college streets is going to be Houston, minus 4.5. Full transparency, I took this at minus 6. It moved down to minus 4.5. Now it's kind of floating back towards 5. I've told you guys countless times, for whatever reason in college football, when the line moves against me, it's fine. Like, it's the weirdest thing in college football specifically. When the line moves against me, we seem to win. When it moves with me and we get COV, I seem to lose. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. But this is just a clear Houston spot for me. They're at home, chance to start 3-0. The defense, now the quality of competition they've played through 2 weeks isn't great, but the defense has looked really good. And at times, the run game has looked really good. Colorado, you can run all over this Colorado team. They were absolutely terrible against Georgia Tech when it came to giving up, just a ton of production to Haynes King. Jamal Haynes was getting by too. And the score of that game, anybody that watched that game knows the score of that Georgia Tech Colorado game. That does not tell the full story. Georgia Tech still won and covered that game. And that was with, multiple, Georgia Tech turned the ball over their first 3 possessions of the game. 1, 2, 3, right in a row to start the game, a turnover, and they were driving every single time. So that game could have really got out of hand. I think post-game win expectancy had Colorado below 5% in that game, and that doesn't – it wouldn't appear that way when you just look at the score. So this is a very, very clear Houston spot for me. And then just bake in – I don't really understand what Colorado's doing with the quarterback situation. They have a 4-star there. They obviously paid a bunch of NIL money to go get Caden Salter from Liberty, and he's benched both of them now. I don't understand this. They're going with the third-string quarterback tonight on the road. I'm just taking Houston. And if this burns me, then I'll have no problem admitting I was wrong, but I just think this is a very, very clear Houston spot. They should be able to run the ball against a bad run defense at home. So give me Houston. I took them first half, and I took them for the full game. I took them for the full game twice because, like I said, I bet them -6. It moved down. I just bet them again at 4.5, and then I took them for the first half also. Jim, great calls as usual on NFL last night. Thank you. Appreciate you. Mitchell, what's up? Crawford versus Canelo tomorrow night. We don't get boxing like this often. Okay. Is there a Mitchell? Do you have Mitchell as our resident fighting expert? I would say. Is there betting odds on this? And should we bet on this? Because I'm going to tell you right away, you know what I'm going to say, Mitchell. I hate betting on these rigged. I hate betting on these rigged boxing matches. So, is there a bet for this or what? I don't like betting on rigged boxing matches, but I digress. We also have another good game tonight, Kansas State, Arizona. Kansas State has just been a total disaster this year, just total and utterly. And it just set the tone for them. They're playing in Ireland week 0. They put Dylan Edwards in to return punts in the pouring rain on some field they've never played before, and he got hurt and fumbled. And I feel like that just set the tone. And then Avery Johnson's dad and his brother were beating the shit out of each other in the parking lot. He's -175. Oh yeah, I see -182 on FanDuel right now for that. But that kind of just set the tone for Kansas State. Then they come back, they lose to Army. Just total disaster of a team right now. Lost to Army. They're 1-2. They've only beaten North Dakota, and I'm pretty sure it was in overtime. Now they go on the road to Arizona. This feels like a trappy line, though, to me. I try not to read too much into this, but I mean, Arizona, you guys know I'm kind of biased towards them a little bit. Arizona Wildcats football have made us a lot of money the last few years. Noah Fafita and company. 2 years ago, we were hitting them quite often. I bet on them earlier this season, and they won against Hawaii. Took them big against Hawaii. So they're 2-0. They've had 2 big wins. They haven't played since. They had the kind of off. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Does anyone in the chat have a thought on Arizona and Kansas State? I mean, my football eyes tell me Arizona should win this game. Kansas State is not good. But this line is just weird. I don't know. My football brain tells me Arizona should win, but my logic betting brain tells me that Kansas State is going to win, because if this line is how it is and it's not moving, I would have to assume that the public is on Arizona here. The public perception of these two teams couldn't be different. Arizona's at home and they're short dogs, and this has not moved. I would just assume most people are betting Arizona in the spot. So football brain tells me Arizona. My betting brain tells me Kansas State is going to win this game because I don't understand the line. I like rigged UFC much more. Lopez plus 210 in the main event tomorrow night. Okay, you can get me in on that. Mitchell, I don't know if you missed my UFC arc. I was betting UFC pretty heavily back in the summer for a couple weeks there. I might tail that plus 210 in the main event. A little extra cash in the pocket heading into Sunday. I don't hate that. And then we have New Mexico, UCLA. I mean, again, UCLA should roll here, but I'm just not betting money on Nico Iamaleava. I refuse. So that is a pass for me tonight. If you force me to pick, I'd pick UCLA, but not a chance I'm trusting that guy to cover the spread. There's just no chance. So overall for Friday night, really like Houston's my favorite spot, first half and full game. I guess like lean Kansas State in this game because I just don't understand the line. It just makes no sense to me. It has to be Kansas State in that game based off the line. So lean that, but probably not going to play it. For Saturday, in terms of bigger games, I have not taken a lot of bets for college. I like Buffalo to roll against Kansas State or against Kent State. Kent State is terrible once again, one of the worst teams in the country. Buffalo, one of the better teams in the MAC, should be able to roll even on the road. So I kind of like Buffalo. Haven't played it, but kind of like Buffalo. Not touching this Clemson Georgia Tech game. This line's come down a ton. It opened at like almost a touchdown. It's down to 3.5, 3. I mean, there's a 2.5 popping. I mean, this line is just steaming towards Georgia Tech. I want to see if I can get some splits on this. Let's take a look here. I would have to imagine Georgia Tech is. I don't know. I mean, FanDuel has it 63% of the bets on Clemson, but that line is just. I don't know. Trying to get into college, what games would you recommend I watch? Yeah, college football is awesome. It's definitely different than the NFL, but I've really when I was a little bit younger, I wasn't the biggest fan of college. I watched it, but not like I do now. I'm dialed into college now. I love it. The last few years, especially betting on it, we've had a lot of success, so I really like it. So if you're asking what games you should watch, I would say in the early window, Clemson, Georgia Tech, ACC game. So that's a conference game. Clemson was high on a lot of people, including myself's radar coming into the season. They've struggled out of the gate. Georgia Tech really outperformed last year. They have their same kind of duo back, their quarterback. They have a mobile quarterback, Haynes King. They have a good running back, Jamal Haynes. And both these teams are in the mix for the ACC. So I would say that's a good game to watch in the early window. Miami, South Florida in the afternoon window, and Georgia, Tennessee. Those can be the two big games there. Miami, South Florida is interesting, though. South Florida's won 2 ranked games to start the season here. They're up into the rankings now. Miami looks really good with Carson Beck kind of re-engaged. They're up to 18th in the country. It's a big spread, but should be a fun game. And then the night game, obviously, you want to watch Notre Dame and Texas A&M. And I would throw South Carolina Vanderbilt in there as well as a good game to watch. Vandy has Diego Pavia, who's just like a legend when it comes to covering the spread. Underrated kind of guy that's just played in college forever and, brought Vanderbilt football back on the map. And then South Carolina, ranked number 11, Norris Sellers at quarterback, one of the Heisman favorites, expected to be a pretty high pick in the NFL draft at the quarterback position. So there's some good games to watch. You also have Florida LSU. I didn't even mention that. Florida LSU, great game. There's some really good games this weekend. Florida coming off that tough loss against South Florida last week. LSU has Nussmeier, again, someone that's projected to be a top 10 pick at quarterback in the NFL draft next year. LSU's looked very good to me to begin the season. So there is quite a few options all day to check out on the schedule this week. Other spots that stick out to me betting, Buffalo, like I said, lean, but didn't play it. Clemson, Georgia Tech, I'm not touching anything there. That line's come down too much for me to be interested. Not touching anything Georgia, Tennessee. This line's bounced around too. It was down to 3.5 in most places, and it looks like 4s are popping everywhere now. In Tennessee, Rocky Top, obviously tough place to play, but I don't really know. Kind of like North Texas over Washington State. I'd put that in the lean category with Buffalo. I like this North Texas team at home. I'm definitely interested there. I would be interested in Pitt, but this is too many points for a rivalry game. I do like Pittsburgh more than West Virginia. Too many points for a rivalry game, though. And True Love, 3:30, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, the backyard brawl. This is a big rivalry game. West Virginia crowd will be insane. So that's another good one to watch. Miami had a players-only meeting. Do you have any Miami playing in your lineups? Yeah, I like as gross as it is, I actually bet the Dolphins this week, and I also will be playing Dolphins in DFS. I think you have to. Based off how bad they looked last week, no one's going to want to play them. New England's defense, especially no Christian Gonzalez again. New England got absolutely cooked defensively last week. Geno Smith was shredding them through the air. If there is any hope of the Miami Dolphins winning some football games this year, they are going to have success. They ripped up New England last year. They're at home, early season at home game with the stupid stadium where the Patriots are going to be stuck in the sun and the Dolphins aren't. No Christian Gonzalez, like I said. This New England defense was terrible last week. Everyone's healthy. Waddle's going to play. Tyreek's going to play. Achane's going to play. Have to be on the Dolphins in the spot as gross as it is. And if they struggle, then yeah, they just suck. But I have to play the spot, unfortunately. I like Miami over South Florida to cover this 17-point spread. South Florida you have to feel like they're due for a letdown at some point. Like big win at home over Boise, big upset over Florida. Like they can't keep doing this week after week, right? And as much as I like DJ Lagway, he's been inconsistent, and that Florida team beat themselves last week. I don't think Miami's going to do that. I think Miami's head and shoulders above Florida roster-wise. Miami should be able to really dominate in the trenches here. Carson Beck back, looking engaged in the Heisman race. I like the Hurricanes this week to cover that big spread, so I do like Miami there. Moving down to some of those like afternoon, evening games. I do not have a play Florida LSU. I would lean LSU, I guess, but I really don't have anything there. Lean Notre Dame over Texas A&M, but don't have anything there. And probably lean South Carolina since this line's come down. I mean, this was like 5.5, 6 earlier in the week. Now it's down to 3. I don't know. Duke Tulane, Mensa returning back to Tulane. Duke, just disaster of a team. Beat themselves last week against Illinois. Illinois is still like one of the most phony good teams I've ever seen. When Illinois plays Ohio State in a few weeks, Ohio State's going to be a hammer bet. I don't care what the spread is. I don't care if it's 20. I'm betting Ohio State over Illinois. I can just tell you that right now. GT gets big upset. I could definitely see that. If the line was still 6, I would play Georgia Tech, but I just don't want to touch it at that 3. But yeah, definitely think they could upset Clemson. I do agree with that. I kind of like Arizona State in this late game, coming off a terrible game last week when they lost. Now they're coming back home against a defense they should definitely be able to score on. Big number, 17.5. Maybe play the team total, but I'm definitely interested in buying back on some Arizona State potentially. Love this Utah team, but going on the road in Laramie playing Wyoming is never easy. All right, let's flip and switch over to the NFL. Like I told you guys just now, I did bet the Miami Dolphins this week. They're minus 2.5. There's a 1.5 there on ESPN Bet. It's pretty much 2.5 everywhere else. I just took the money line at minus 125. So I did buy in on the Dolphins this week, expecting a big offensive performance, probably on both sides of that game, to be straight with you. I did bet the Browns. I think 11.5 is just too many points for a divisional game this early in the season. And the Browns defense is good. The problem with the Browns is their defense is good, and it's going to be on the field a ton throughout the course of the season. And then they're going to get tired by the time we get to the midseason, and then they'll start just getting worked and tanking. That's not going to be the case early in the season. Joe Flacco returning to Baltimore for the first time as a starter on another team. Definitely think the Ravens win this game, but I think 11.5 is too many points. So I like the Browns to cover, which is saying a lot because you guys know I hate this Browns team. I bet them under 5.5 wins. I don't think they're good, but I do like them to cover that 11.5. I do like the Dolphins. I like the Broncos a little bit. Colts, 2 big corners are out for them. Something that Denver should be able to take advantage of. So I'm definitely going to be interested in Denver. Probably going to add Denver with the corners out there. And that's probably it. Eagles are a maybe. 49ers, I might buy in on this. I don't know. I need to think about this. I would put Eagles as a maybe. I would put 49ers as a maybe. I already bet the Browns and the Dolphins, and then I'm definitely probably going to bet the Broncos. Let me see if we have splits on that Broncos game, just out of curiosity. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty public. I'll probably look into it a little bit more. I'll look into it more, but I already bet the Browns. I already bet the Dolphins. What do the Commanders do now? I don't think they need to overreact, but yeah, I mean, their offensive line looked terrible last night. I'm sure they'll be fine. They didn't look great against the Giants in week 1, but it was week 1. Terry McLaurin will get rolling as the season goes along. The Packers defense is just that good. So I don't think they should put too much stock into that game last night, but yeah, we'll see. I could see them trading for a running back maybe at like the deadline or something. I could see that. We'll talk more on Sunday about DFS, obviously, and then touchdown stuff. But I did tell you guys a few days ago, I'm probably going to have my biggest touchdown play of the season this week, that being Josh Allen against the Jets. He was, oh my God, he was minus 110, and I put it, luckily I've already put this in. I'm seeing Josh Allen minus 150 anytime TD now. Is this accurate? Thank God I already locked this in, or I would just be losing my mind. This was minus 110 when we started talking about this like 2 days ago. Let me see. Let me check 365, see what he's at there. No, okay. FanDuel is like, what is up with this? FanDuel has him at minus 150 to score. You can still get a minus 120 on 365. Let's check DraftKings. Hey, what did I tell you guys about when FanDuel's touchdown odds are worse than other places? Because typically they have the best odds. That's noteworthy to me. Let's check DK. He's minus 130 DraftKings, minus 120 Bet365, but minus 150 on FanDuel. So if you're going to tail this, do not take it on FanDuel. Try and get on to 365 or DraftKings at worst. But Josh Allen, anytime touchdown is going to be my biggest touchdown play of the season thus far. Absolutely love the spot for him. He had a ton of usage running the ball last week. Now, obviously, that game got completely cooking, so I'm not really expecting that to happen again. But we know he's going to be involved running the football. We know he's going to be involved in the red zone. He absolutely torched Aaron Glenn's defense the last 2 times he saw them. The last 2 times he played the Detroit Lions when Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator there, he lit them up, especially on the ground. Aaron Glenn calls one of the most man-heavy defensive schemes in the NFL. We know that rushing quarterbacks benefit from playing man coverage. And one thing about Aaron Glenn is he does not care. He is going to run his scheme regardless of his personnel, regardless of who he's playing. He does not care. And I think that's a mistake against Josh Allen and this Bills team. I think Josh Allen is going to crush this weekend, and I absolutely love him to score a touchdown again. So Josh Allen took a -110 anytime touchdown. You can still get that -120 out there. That's a big, big play for me on the weekend. Eckler is out for the season, though. Yes. I tweeted it. NFL Sunday ladder play. We hit the Juju ladder on Thursday Night Football a week ago. We hit the Chris Olave receptions ladder on Sunday. I have my ladder play for this Sunday, but I'm not going to give it out on the stream. I'm going to wait, and I will tweet it and tag Rolling Insights in that tweet a little bit later. I will give that out. So I'm going to keep you guys waiting. If you guys want to guess, go ahead. But quicker stream today. I'm going to head out of here. I got some content, got to write some stuff. Big content weekend coming. So we've got, I'll have a start sit article for season long coming out today. That'll be up pretty soon. We will have the same game parlay, which we hit. We hit a +260 same game parlay from the blog post last week. That'll be out tomorrow. The DFS player pool article will be out tomorrow. If you guys saw that last week, I'll have that out as well. And then Sunday morning, big stream, touchdown picks, ladder plays, DFS plays, lineup builds, question and answer, final thoughts, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys rest up this weekend. Big slate of football tomorrow. Let's crush that. Big slate of football on Sunday. Let's crush that. Make sure you guys tune in 11 a.m. on Sunday. Bring your questions, and I will see everybody then.